We're talking recruiting on today's Alabama Football Report. I am Tom Downey. Junior Day weekend in the books for the Crimson Tide, and a lot of positive buzz coming out of it, specifically from On3. Not just Bama Online, but the national insiders like Steve Wiltfong, hyping up what Bama was able to accomplish and projecting it as a potential launching point for not just a great 2027 recruiting class, but the best class in the nation there. Bama currently has 4 commits right now for 2027. A couple of 4-stars here. Jabarius Garor, the edge rusher. Trent Seaborn, the 4-star quarterback. 4-star athlete Colt Lumpris. And then 3-star cornerback Nash Johnson III, which is an elite name, by the way. Several 5-stars seemingly in good position with Alabama. We'll break that down for you on today's show. But first, do you think Alabama will end up with the number 1 class in the 2027 recruiting cycle? Y for yes, N for no. Let's begin with the quarterback here on the 5-star side. Elijah Haven, who some of the outlets have him as the number 1 ranked quarterback in the 24/7 composite here. 2027 class 5-star, number 27 overall. The number 2 quarterback in that 24/7 sports composite rankings. Number 4 player, by the way, in the state of Louisiana. By all counts, seems like Alabama, once again for a 5-star quarterback, is firmly in the running here. Here's what his dad, Kwame Haven, had to say about the visit. It was a great visit. Got to spend a lot of time with Coach Brian Ellis and get to know him better. They did a great job of answering all our questions and showing us everything we wanted to see, from the business school to the athletic housing. They are very intentional about the way they recruit, which we appreciate. And most of all, the culture is environment conducive to development on and off the field. Look, with Kalen DeBoer in tow, I think it's very important to point out how good Bama recruiting has been, specifically at the quarterback position. Obviously, we don't get to be in those recruiting visits, but whatever they're telling these guys and their ability to identify recruits sometimes ahead of the game at quarterback. I remember the negative buzz of, you picked up an SMU recruit in Keelan Russell, and then he ends up being a 5-star once everyone else got eyes on him. Bama seems to have a good eye for talent, which matters these days, and they're able to sell properly without being among the NIL spenders, which I think is a key thing to also mention in this conversation. Back to Haven here. I would not be surprised if he ended up as the quarterback 1 by National Signing Day, maybe early National Signing Day. Plenty of positive buzz on the Louisiana prospect. So what is your confidence level in Kalen DeBoer's recruiting ability? What was it? Husky Harson, clearly not accurate in any way. Sorry, Auburn fans. Not sorry. 1 to 10 is your scale. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's get to the 5-star wide receiver who could be maybe a little pairing with Haven. That is Monshun Sales, one of the top receivers in the entire country there. Bama very much in the running here for the Indiana product, who also originally from Alabama is worth mentioning there. 5-star recruit. He's number 9 overall in the country, number 2 wide receiver, number 1 player in the state of Indiana, and he's taking really the close to home, both homes, essentially. The top programs who have been in the mix here, Alabama, also Auburn. He was going to Auburn after his junior day visit at Alabama. And then the 2 more like powerhouse local programs near him currently, Ohio State. And we have to put Indiana now as a powerhouse program, which is non-football related, fun and unique and different there. Here's what Sales had to say on his visit with the Crimson Tide. The visit was amazing. Definitely felt different being back home as the top recruit. This was everything I dreamed of when I was playing Little League ball back in Ensley. The biggest takeaway was how they're focusing on developing the wide receivers and making sure it's a priority to get playmakers the ball. I love the coaching staff. Overall, it was a great visit. So looking ahead here to the wide receiver room, I do think, again, the Crimson Tide are going to have to go pretty hard in the wide receiver targets. Ryan Williams, there's no seniors really, I guess, on this list necessarily. Ryan Williams is just a junior. Noah Rogers getting close to eligibility expiring. Latsier Brooks is young. But it is a thin group, and we would hope, fingers crossed, that Ryan Williams ends up heading off to the NFL. And I do think there is the opportunity for a talented young 5-star like Sales to end up being an instant impact piece wherever he goes, but of course focused in on Alabama. So will the Crimson Tide end up landing him? A for yes, B for no? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section of today's show. Continuing along with the five-star conversation, that is the number one player in the country, John Meredith, who listed as number one right now. We'll see if that continues along here. On3, using phrases like, hey, he's picking up momentum, quote-unquote, pick up traction and momentum with the extremely talented cornerback in John Meredith. Five-star, number one overall, 2027 class, obviously. Number one corner, number one in the state of Texas as well. He recently said his top two programs were Alabama and Texas A&M, with plenty of Texas interest on that front, with Ohio State reportedly in play as well. SMU, they've got better NIL than you might expect, by the way. Speaking of NIL, Texas Tech all the way through. They can just throw money around. And then Texas, again, another big NIL player. For all these guys, I think especially for the number one recruit in the country, it is worth trying to figure out, how does NIL factor in? Like, if you're just going to take the biggest bag, you might not like it, but that isn't really how Alabama is recruiting these days. That's going to go to a different program, a Texas program, all that oil money down there, right? On3 Steve Wiltfong does seem to still like Alabama's chances. Not that it's a lock. It is, after all, February. And technically, I guess, the main not early national signing day for next year is over a year away. So, like, you've got a lot of time to kind of see how things sort out. But it is noteworthy that three huge five-star recruits, some on the top at their positions as well, of course, are all very much in the running with Alabama. Now, it's a little cold out there these days. That's why I haven't shaved the beard the way I normally do. Get up to 50% off Alabama hoodies today at chatsports.com/Bama hoodie. We'll put that link in the comments section and the description for you on today's show. Variety of styles and colors and fonts and designs and everything you could possibly want from a different look perspective. I promise you there is something for you over on Fanatics. Link will be in the comments section and the description. Again, folks, it's chatsports.com/Bama hoodie. Let's go to three-star corner Darius White, who this might be one where Alabama is kind of ahead of the game on. He's only a three-star. He's 370 overall in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. He's down there as the 39th ranked corner and number 40 in the state of Georgia. But this is someone who I think Bama's early on. FSU recently picked up an offer. He had a junior day visit with Georgia. He's also 6'3", and as you can tell, room to add some mass as well. Some other visitors we'll break down here in just a second, but I think maybe White is one to monitor as a potential commit. We will have you covered here on the Alabama Football Report. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. We got to 37K, now it's to 38K. Some other visitors on the junior day trip I want to mention here. A couple of these guys are not ranked. Remember, it is always playing catch-up on the recruiting services side because, well, you're so locked in on the seniors. The juniors haven't even played there. You're just kind of trying to get caught up, essentially. Joakim Gouda is a three-star linebacker. Junior James, not ranked as a safety, but all these guys have plenty of good interest, and they'll eventually be ranked at least as three stars. Junior James, Mitchell Turner, A.J. Pauley, Antoine Jackson. The other one to make note of is Jaden Upshaw, a four-star receiver, number 79 in the nation, so another top 100 recruit to monitor for the Crimson Tide.